Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good night, whatever time of day this video finds you. It's your boy Jay here, and today I'm talking about one move for every weapon I'd love to see make the jump from Sunbreak to Wilds. Now before we start going down the list weapon by weapon, let's talk about what this video isn't, okay? This isn't a I need to have this, I must have this, I will think less of Wilds if these weapons don't have these moves. That's not what this is at all. I just asked myself a hypothetical question. If I could only bring one Sunbreak move per weapon to Wilds, which move would I pick per weapon? And I do think that this kind of video will spawn a lot of discussion in the comment section, which is what I'm really hoping for. I love talking to my fellow hunters and, you know, discussing our different opinions. So yeah, don't feel super strongly about this list. I don't feel particularly strongly about this list. I won't even be all that mad if none of these moves made it. But I still want to make the video because I still want to have a nice discussion piece to talk about. Now, the next thing, some of these moves feature wire bugs. I know wire bugs are not in the next game. However, I do think that the hook slinger can be repurposed to do the wire bugs job and still have it make some sense, right? So there's that. Like when you look at the hook slinger, like what if you shot it at the ground and used the hook slinger to pull the entire hunter rather than pull an item to the hunter? Something to think about. Something to think about. But anyway, I'm getting, you know, a little ahead of myself. Let's start going down this list one by one and talking about which moves I'd like to see make the jump from Sunbreak to Wilds. Alright, first up, great sword, big sword, and actually we're gonna keep it simple. The move I'd like to see great sword retain from Sunbreak, if any, power sheath. Okay, I know a lot of you guys are looking at your screen right now talking about, bro, what about strong arm stance? I don't know. I don't think great sword needs a counter, right? Like I'm advocating for a slower game, and I feel like strong arm stance is a symptom of the game being so fast that, hey, we need to give you a counter because your mobility sucks too. But power sheath, it's simple. You sheath, big numbers get even bigger on the big number weapon. Like, what's not to love, right? And also, power sheath is a little bit of a movement tool as well, right? So you can kind of, like I said earlier, kind of use the hook slinger, maybe hook sling yourself away from the monster or toward a body part you want to damage. Power sheath up, that way you're stronger than before, and boom, easy. So power sheath. I know strong arm stance is right there. We all love strong arm stance, but I don't know, man. I think we should just leave that behind and get a little simpler, take it back a step, and keep power sheath. Alright, up next, the most popular Blade Master weapon in Monster Hunter as of late, Longsword, alright? And the move that I want to keep from Longsword is gonna be the Sacred Sheath combo. Now we already know that we got the Helmbreaker back because of Dear Gamer's video when he talked about what he saw at the demo, but that's all well and good. That's good. It's a way to spend the meters that we build up when we play Longsword, but I would like to see the Sacred Sheath combo come back as a nice other option to spend the meters, so to speak. And I don't know, I just thought it was really unique to build the meters up. Boom, Sacred Sheath combo. Like, that's the one where you sheath your sword and then all the meter gets drained and makes you super strong, and then you do this big 3-hit combo that does buko duko damage. It goes crazy and you whack. It makes for a really nice Hail Mary. And if you've got your meters built up and you got a sleeping monster, you're gonna do crazy damage along with pairing it with Frostcraft if that does come back. So that's the move I'd like to see return for Longsword, even though we already know we got the Helm Splitter. But yeah, Sacred Sheath combo, bring that joint back. I like more options for spending my meters when it comes to Longsword. Up next, the Sword and Board, Swiss Army knife of a weapon capable of doing it all, the Sword and Shield. And the one move I want to keep from Sword and Shield, I don't know what currency you're going to make it cost, stamina, because wire bugs are gone, but god damn it, give me my Metsu Shoryugeki, man. the feeling you get from properly landing a counter Metsu Shoryugeki and scoring that KO on a monster is unparalleled. Oh my god, I gotta have it. I gotta have it, man. I gotta see Metsu Shoryugeki make the return when it comes to Sword and Shield. That's all I ask. I'm a simple man. I just want to knock monsters out. Y'all know me, Hammer main. Metsu Shoryugeki is goated. Just make sure that the hammer can KO better than the Metsu Shoryugeki this time, okay? That's all I ask for. But yeah, that's all I want. Metsu Shoryugeki. Bring it back. God, I need it. Please. Oh yeah, double blades time, the most mobile weapon, the most weeb weapon, so to speak. But hey, double blades, alright, dual blades. What move do I want to see make the return for dual blades? I'm a simple guy, okay? I'm going to pick the low-hanging fruit. Spiral Slash. Yes, I want to see Spiral Slash come back. Now, if this was the GU edition of this video, I'd say a different move. But hey, let me know in the comments down below if you want me to do this with the GU hunting arts as well. But yes, Spiral Slash is the move I want to see make a return on the dual blades. I just love it so much. And it's a little harder than what it looks like on the surface, right? Like, oh yeah, Spiral Slash, but you gotta hit a weak spot, right? You can miss a Spiral Slash and now you're out of position and you gotta run back to the monster. And so yeah, I think Spiral Slash would make for a nice tool for dual blades to keep. It gives you a nice big move to use on weak points of the monster. And yeah, I mean, maybe after you do you jump off the ledge and you do the Captain Levi down the spine of a monster, they can keep it to where you can Spiral Slash right after that if you do it correctly. I think it would be dope. I think it'd be dope. So yes, Spiral Slash. I'm picking the low-hanging fruit here. That's what I want to see return for dual blades. The best shield in the game and the longest stick in the game, the poke, hop Lance. That's what we're talking about right now. And the one move I'd want to keep for Lance, now this one I had to think about it for a little bit, because I really do like Piercing Vine and, you know, the ability to just stick to the monster after you get, or not Piercing Vine, Twin Vine, that's it. I really like Twin Vine, but I think the move I would really want to keep is Insta Block. Yep, Insta Block, man. And honestly, like, maybe even just make it a part of the Lance's moveset, right? Where if you time a block well, you always have access to Insta Block. If you time the block well, you'll always have access to that counter move, and maybe even give Lance a bit more options for things to do after landing an Insta Block, right? It doesn't have to only be that counter. Maybe you get a special mobility tool that way, like if you Insta Block a projectile, maybe you get a big hop forward so that you can stick to the monster better and continue the poking assault. But yeah, Insta Block is the move I want to see come to Wilds' Lance, and maybe even an expansion of what you can do after landing an Insta Block. Oh yeah, let's talk about the boomstick, baby. Gunlance. All right, so what move am I gonna choose to bring over to Wilds? Bullet Barrage? Nah, I'm not picking Bullet Barrage. As much as I love me Bullet Barrage, bro. I love Bullet Barrage. I'm not picking Bullet Barrage. I'm actually gonna pick Blast Dash, right? I just can't imagine Gunlance making its return without Blast Dash, especially with how it was well received in Rise. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, Blast Dash, man. We gotta have Blast Dash when it comes to the Gunlance, right? We gotta Blast Dash around, have our movement tool, be able to slap and full burst after the Blast Dash. I ain't never seen nobody use charge selling ever in my life. Come on now, man. Give us a Blast Dash so we can zip zoom around and, you know, have mini Valstraxes, you know what I'm saying? We can do our own Valstrax cosplay by blast dashing all over the place and slapping, full bursting all over the monster, explosions everywhere. Let's do it. Bring back Blast Dash so that the Gunlance has the mobility so that we can have fun playing it. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, gotta bring Blast Dash, man. Let's see it happen. Oh yeah, it's time for me to talk about my favorite weapon, the big blunt mother lover, the KO king itself, the hammer. Alright, so what does the hammer main want to bring back? Does the hammer main want to bring back Impact Crater and Impact Crater Doshiguma in the face? No, actually. You probably want to bring back Impact Burst. You know what I'm saying? The buff where you get the secondary hits and blah, 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 blah. No, no, no. I don't want that either. What I want to bring back is Spinning Bludgeon Charge. Hear me out. I like what they got going with the hammer when it comes to the different charge modes, right? Charging is a huge part of our moveset. So when you push the A button during a charge, you change up what type of charge attacks you have access to, right? And the charge of the hammer changes colors. It goes from like yellow to purple or whatever. And in Sunbreak, not in Sunbreak, they expanded upon this even better when it came to charge strength or charge courage mode, right? Which kind of brought back the GU Valor type charge, which is great. Hell yeah, we love that. And I like the ability to change up my charges on the fly, and I liked how going from one charge to another granted you even more opportunities to release some level 3 charges. I really like how smooth the Spinning Bludgeon Charge made that feel. So that's what I want to continue with, right? I like what they're doing with the charge switching mode, and Spinning Bludgeon Charge was just the icing on the cake. When you really understood when to switch, you're able to drop a whole lot of level 3 charges in a small amount of time, leading to more knockouts, more devastating damage, more hard hits, more bonk. That's what we're about. That's what we love to see. Oh yeah, it's time to talk about the buff stick, the musical brother to the hammer, the hunting horn. Okay, so we actually got on record in an interview. We know that hunting horn is getting a lot of changes when you compare it to its Rise Sunbreak form. We already have that straight from the source. However, I do think there's one thing that we can carry from Rise Sunbreak 2 Wilds and still make it make sense, right? And that is gonna be Silkbind Shockwave, right? Now, I know it sounds pretty simple. Okay, you want the little buff where you get extra hits, blah, blah, blah. But I want to tie that back into the music, right? Because that was my biggest complaint when it came to, Sunbreak and giving us the Silkbind Shockwave, is that it's not really about the music. It's about, dealing more damage, getting more hits. But what if we bring back double notes as well? And, we tie that into every time you land a Silkbind Shockwave buffed note, right? You're going to get a double note. And then when you do your recitals, when you do your encores, you're going to be able to skip straight to attack up large and play the song you played before that as well. So you're going to be able to keep up the buffs even easier and raise your party's DPS even more when you have the Silkbind Shockwave on, right? Because in its current form, Silkbind Shockwave is kind of selfish. It only helps you. But now with Silkbind Shockwave doing the double notes, and you'll be able to play more songs and more potent songs, if that is indeed coming back, then I think your party members will love seeing you Silkbind Shockwave up, knowing they got an attack up L coming, along with a health regeneration on top to boot. Right now, all the buffs are going to be active all the time, and it's about the music, and you get to deal more damage and more KO. What's not to like? Bring it back, tweak it a little bit. It's going to be great. That's the hunting horn. Alright, the first of the two mighty morphin weapons, Switch Axe. I had to think long and hard about this one, man. I almost picked Switch Charger, which is the more boring option, but then I remembered I like zero sum discharge entirely too much. And if you like ZSD, you know how well it pairs with Soaring Wyvern Blade. That's right, that's what I'm picking. I'm picking Soaring Wyvern Blade. Listen, you hit that ZSD, boom, 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 and then when you explode, you do that Soaring Wyvern Blade straight back into the monster and get even more damage on top. Oh my god, it's just the icing on the cake. I'll never forget the feeling when I went back and played me some Iceborne and did a ZSD and I couldn't Soaring Wyvern Blade right after. I felt like something was missing. I felt like, man, it just don't feel as heat as Sunbreak does. with the soaring wyvern blade right after the ZSD before you even hit the ground, ooh, it just feels so nice. And that is one thing that I would love to see make it to Wilds. Now, is that a bit too much? Probably. Is Switch Charger the better option? Yes, but damn it, it's my list and I'm making it, so I'm picking soaring wyvern blade. Leave me alone. Up next is the other of the mighty morphin weapons, the Charge Blade. Legend has it you gotta have a PhD to fully master this weapon and all of its intricate parts. But I digress, let's get into it. What move would I choose to bring to Wilds? Now this one, I thought about it a little bit, and it's not going to be like a 1-for-1, yeah, just drag and drop this move over, it'll be great. But the move I'm talking about is going to be counter peak performance. Right now, I don't want it to show up in its current form where you push a button, you get the counter peak performance, and you know, if you land your counter, you get all your files, blah blah blah. Great. What if we tied counter peak performance to the guard point mechanic, right? So what if when you land a guard point, boom, you get your files to the max and you can counter with an SAED, right? So that kind of raises the skill ceiling for it happening a little higher. It elevates it, right? And maybe they make guard points a little easier and explain it a little better in this game so that people can actually pull it off and have some really cool counter peak performance type things going on, right? You know the monster's about to roar, you get into your guard point stance, bing, you get your files, and you can SAD right out of that if you're all charged up and ready to go. How's that sound, right? We get counter peak performance, but not in the cheesy sort of like, yeah, just push the button, counter and win sort of way. The skill ceiling's a little elevated. You got to be able to land a guard point, and when you do land that guard point, it works kind of like a counter peak performance. So your shield is stronger than what it is on paper, right? You get like a guard +1 kind of automatically tied into it, and you get all your files back. And you can counter out of it into an SAD or charge up your files or charge up your sword or charge up your axe, whatever the hell you need to charge up at the time. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. All right, another one of the newest weapons to enter the Monster Hunter franchise, Bug Stick, Insect Glaive. Now, I'm probably gonna catch a little bit of heat for this one, okay? Because the move I want to see return to Insect Glaive is the Silkbind Vault. What? But we just talked about how there's not going to be Silkbinds. There's not going to be wire bugs in the game. So why would you give it a straight up wire bug move? Well, it is the bug stick though, right? Right? So Silkbind Vault, right? You're in the air. You can use your wire bug to zip around, you know, one more time. So now you have the midair dodge and you have the Silkbind Vault, which just, you know, increases your aerial mobility even more than it already is when it comes to Insect Glaive. It's the ruler of the skies, right? Rathalos, king of the skies. No. My Insect Glaive is coming through with the Silkbind Vault. Now, if you absolutely don't want to bring back wire bugs at all and you want to forget that they even existed, you could perhaps use the hook slinger to kind of do the same thing, right? Like with the glaive out, you can hook sling to maybe the environment and hook sling to like a tree or hook sling to a rock wall surface so that you can bounce yourself around, and it would be the same, basically, like fundamentally the same. You still get an extra dodge in the air along with the regular dodge that you get, so that you have even more aerial mobility than you already do when it comes to the Insect Glaive. So yeah, Silkbind Vault or Hook Slinger Vault, right? That's what I want to see come back for Insect Glaive. All right, talking about Light Bowgun this time. All right, Light Blicky, the one that can move and shoot same time, easy. Now, when it comes to Light Bowgun and Heavy Bowgun, we already got the confirmation that these two weapons got a lot of sweeping changes, right? So they're probably going to show up in a form that we're not really going to recognize, maybe, when it comes to these two weapons. So, you know, just kind of taking a stab in the dark. But of all the Silkbind moves that I want to see make it to Wilds, it's going to be the Wyvern counter, right? Really had fun using the Wyvern counter where, you know, if the monster is really pushing up on you and your timing is right, you can kind of punish the monster for getting too close, wyvern counter your way back to safety, stay in that critical distance, and shoot more shots. Love me some wyvern counter. And it felt really good to use, so that's what I'm gonna pick. Do I think light bowgun needs a counter? Probably not. It's probably overkill if light bowgun gets a counter, but like I said, they got revamped, so maybe they're really changing the way they work so that they're not too strong like they historically have been in the Monster Hunter franchise. Oh yeah, heavy bowgun, the big gun, the click clack boom baby, heavy blicky on the way. So once again, the disclaimer, right? We already got confirmation that this weapon got kind of the most changes along with light bowgun and hunting horn. So I mean, it may show up in a form that we kind of barely recognize when it comes to heavy bowgun in Wilds. But that being said, the move that I want to see return the most when it comes to heavy bowgun is crouching shot. That's right. Love me some crouching shot, man. Now, here's the thing about crouching shot. When it comes to crouching shot, I feel like not every ammo type benefited from crouching shot, right? Like, I would give crouching shot a try on maybe like the spread. And by the time, you know, the shots got fast, like really fast, in order for it to, you know, be like, yeah, I'm really gonna be shooting, my gun is already overheated, you know what I mean? So maybe they gotta tweak it a little bit so that more ammo types can take advantage of crouching shot and really have that feeling of bow, 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 brrrr, right? You exchange your mobility entirely for more firepower, right? Because it's a heavy bowgun, man. It's a heavy gun. Drop that thing on the ground, crouch, and just hold on to it as you just let off shots. Brow, 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 brow. That sounds like a heavy bowgun that I want to play, right? So yeah, maybe tweak it a little bit so that more ammo types can benefit from it, right? It kind of felt like Pierce was the best to use it with, and you know, spread didn't really gain all that much from it. But hey, tweak it a little bit, bring back crouching shot, let's do it. All right, last but most certainly not least, the ranged weapon that probably got the least amount of changes when going from Sunbreak to Wilds is gonna be the bow. Now, what move on the bow am I gonna choose to bring? Aerial aim, man. Aerial aim is so much fun to use, man. I know some of y'all were probably thinking, oh yeah, it's gonna be dodge bolt so you can get the counter. Nah, bro. The charging sidestep will probably be enough for Wilds, right? Seeing as how it's a slower game, so you're gonna be charged stepping anyway. It's gonna be fun. You're gonna be mobile enough, but aerial aim is just so much fun to use, and it's fun as like a defensive tool too, right? You know a monster's gonna lunge at you. You can probably aerial aim out the way, right? I mean, we got, you know, the next gen consoles, maybe the hitboxes will be a little tighter, so you can use it as a defensive tool to jump over things like you know, monster beams or charging monsters. If they're small enough, you just jump over them and look down on them and pew pew pew, keep yourself in the air with the aerial aim. Ooh yeah, it's just so much fun. And we do know that mounts are still in the game, so you'll contribute mounting damage for your party so that you guys can get a decent knockdown, along with, you know, the bow user having fun using aerial aim. So yeah, that's my pick for bow, aerial aim. I love it so much. Alright, that's going to be the end of today's video. That's one move for every weapon I'd like to see make the jump from Rise Sunbreak to Wilds. Once again, this list isn't super important. I mean, if I'm wrong on every move, that's cool. If I'm right on every move, that's cool too. But you guys are the real content of the video. Comment down below what you think of my list. What moves would you swap out, and what moves do you want to see, if any, come from Sunbreak and make it to Wilds? As always, people, happy hunting. Peace.